What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a new video. In today's video I'm going to be repainting my pogo stick and showing you the complete process of how it's done. Alright, so I'm outside now, I've got my pogo stick and it's time to get ready to paint it. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure your pogo stick is fully deflated. For the next step, you're going to need a 3/16 inch Allen key, and you're going to be removing the 8 bolts around the bottom of the pogo stick which attach the foot pegs. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, once you get your 8 bolts out, make sure you put them somewhere where you won't lose them. You're not going to be needing them until the very end of the process, so make sure you put them in a safe spot. Now that we have the bolts removed, I'm going to be showing you how to disattach the foot assembly. So you're going to push down on the fill valve, or you can remove the fill valve if you have the tool, and you're going to kind of step on the foot pegs and pull up. So once you get here, you have the cylinder and the foot assembly separated. I like to grab the piston here at the top of the foot assembly, and I like to wrap it up with newspaper. This is where all the lube is stored in the pogo stick, and we're also not going to be needing this for a couple days, or however long the painting process takes us. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to set this aside somewhere. So take a look here at the top of the cylinder. There's the 4 bolts. You're going to need a 1/4 inch Allen key for this part. Just going to get in there with that. These shouldn't be very tight. Then there you go, just like this. The top cap will come off. Just like everything else up to this point. Set it aside, as well as your handlebars. Set those aside. You're not going to be needing those. Now, here's what we have. We have the cylinder of the pogo stick. I've already painted my pogo stick once before. As you can see, I was able to save the stickers and put them back on. I'm going to be showing you right now how to do that, although I'm not going to be putting the stickers back on with my next paint job. I think I'm going to leave them off. So what you're going to need for this step, if you want to save the stickers, you're going to need some wax paper or parchment paper, baking paper, whichever you call it. I like to use this because it simulates the back of a sticker, because stickers have those waxy consistency. What I did the first time was I used a hair dryer to warm up the sticker, and then I peeled it off. Peels off. And then, as you watch here, I'm not trying to press it too hard into the wax paper. I'm just going to kind of lightly stick it on there. And then I'll do the same with the other sticker and set it aside until the end of the painting process. Alright, now it's sanding time. So this is what the pogo looks like now. I just finished sanding with a medium grit sandpaper. Now I'm going to be using this fine grit to go over the entire pogo stick, just to get it nice and smooth to where I don't feel any scratches or inconsistencies. And then I'm going to be wiping it off and it'll be ready. So as you can see now, I've finished sanding. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel, and I'm going to give it one last wipe down. Also, before you do this and before you start painting, tape off the top and the breather holes. Tape the breather holes from the inside so that no spray paint gets inside of them, and tape off the top like this so that you're not getting any paint on the top or in the fill valve. Alright, so I've given the pogo stick enough time for the isopropyl to all evaporate. So now I'm going to take my spray can, my color of choice, going to shake it up good, and I'm going to be applying it in thin layers to start with. If you go too thick with the paint at the start, you're just going to get drips and it's not going to harden all the way through at the end. So that first layer is really light. You can even tell like it's not even full coverage yet. but it is an oil-based paint, so I gotta take my time with it. I'm gonna leave that for about 10 minutes to flash cure, and then I'll come back and start applying more layers. I'm gonna keep doing that process until it's fully covered, and I think it's a good enough amount of paint. Alright, so it's been 48 hours now since I put the last coat on my pogo stick. I've been letting it harden fully because that's really important. Alright, so now that the pogo stick's clean, I have my clear coat here. I'm doing a matte finish because I think the off-white with a matte finish will look really cool and clean. So I'm going to shake this up for a minute, and then I'm going to be starting to spray that in thin layers just like we did with the paint. So like I said and showed with the spray paint, really thin layers to start. The thing about clear coat is, because it's clear, you're not really going to be able to tell when you have full coverage. So you're going to want to do plenty of layers to make sure that you have the whole thing covered by the end of it. So I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and progressively add more layers. You're not going to have a perfect outcome every time. That's what makes it unique. So you might have some little bits where paint is kind of sticking up and not in the right way, or there might be some little black marks that you can't really fix. That's part of it, and if that's something you can't accept, then I would honestly just say leave it to a professional, or don't paint your pogo stick. Like I said, there are some little scratches and inconsistencies already in the paint, but over time with use it's going to get scratched up a bit anyways, so that's not something I'm really too concerned about. Anyways, I will let this sit for 24 hours and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And we're back the next day, and it's finally time to put the pogo stick back together. So what we're going to start with is we're just going to remove the tape that we taped off from the top before. So there we go. I did a pretty good job this time actually. That's what it should look like. And we're also going to remove the tape from the inside. We're going to flip the pogo back right side up. And we're going to put on the handlebars and the top plate. Grab the 4 bolts for your top plate with a 1/4 inch Allen key. And tighten the bolts in. And once that's done, you don't have to tighten these down like excessively. They're going to go in just fine on their own. Push down on the fill valve so that air can escape as you press this in. So you can see I'm pushing it on the fill valve so that the air is escaping. Fit that on over. Now we're going to take a closer look. So just make sure the bolt holes at the bottom are lined up, all 8 bolt holes. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be using my 3/16 inch Allen key after hand tightening, and I'm going to tighten them all in. One thing I've learned is to never force in the bolts. The bolts and the threads on Vurtegos do cross thread pretty easily, and so if they're not going in just by hand tightening, don't really force it. Alright, so I have all the bolts hand tightened in here now. Pay close attention to this next step, and this applies for any time you have to take off the foot peg assembly. You want to tighten your bolts in a grid-like pattern. If I tightened the 4 of these bolts first, then these bolts wouldn't receive equal amount of pressure giving into the center of the cylinder as these ones. So you want to watch what I do here. As you go to tighten them good, not too hard. You're going to switch and go across the side. So now that I did forward and back, I'm going to skip one over and do this side. And now I'll turn it over and do the same bolt on the other side. Now it doesn't really matter which one you want to crisscross next. I'm going to go to the front here again, to the other one, flip it over, get the opposite bolt, tighten that up, and now I have one remaining on the side here. Oh, that was pretty loose. Alright. Gonna tighten that up. And then the last one, opposite side from that, tightening that up. I am super happy with the way this looks. There is some imperfections. It didn't come out perfect, but you should never really expect it to come out spot on perfect. Yeah, I really like it. I think that looks really clean. If you do decide to put the stickers on and you saved those earlier, now would be the time to do that, because you can lay the pogo stick flat because the foot pegs are in, and then you can judge. Put the sticker on, take a hairdryer or a heat gun, get it nice and warm, and press firmly into the stick, and make sure the O is at the top. The O always goes at the top for the Vurtego stickers. So I guess that concludes the video. That is how you paint your pogo stick, start to finish, whole process. Hope this video helped some people. This video was highly requested for quite a while. People were always asking me how I had my blue pogo stick, and this is how. So best of luck to you if you decide to paint your pogo stick. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.